In this podcast episode, Scott Galloway and Logan Ury delve into the complexities of modern masculinity, the impact of dating apps, and the rising phenomenon of incels. Their conversation highlights the struggles faced by young men today, the societal expectations placed upon them, and the implications of loneliness on mental health and safety. Galloway and Ury begin by addressing the current crisis of masculinity, emphasizing that many young men feel lost and disconnected from traditional roles. The conversation reveals that the expectations of being a provider, protector, and procreator weigh heavily on young men, leading to feelings of inadequacy and frustration. Galloway points out that the traditional markers of success, such as financial stability and emotional intelligence, are increasingly difficult for young men to achieve, especially in a rapidly changing economic landscape. Ury adds that the rise of women in the workforce has created a new dynamic in relationships, where men often feel threatened by their partner's success. This shift has led to a growing sense of competition rather than collaboration, making it harder for men to find their place in both the dating world and society at large. The discussion highlights the need for a redefinition of masculinity that embraces vulnerability and emotional openness, rather than adhering to outdated stereotypes. The conversation shifts to the impact of dating apps on modern relationships. Galloway argues that these platforms have fundamentally altered the way people connect, often leading to superficial interactions rather than meaningful relationships. Ury agrees, noting that while dating apps provide access to a larger pool of potential partners, they also create a paradox where individuals feel more isolated than ever. The ease of swiping left or right can lead to a lack of commitment and emotional investment, which ultimately contributes to the loneliness many young men experience. Moreover, Galloway points out that the algorithms used by dating apps often favor certain traits, such as physical appearance, which can leave many men feeling inadequate. This dynamic can exacerbate feelings of rejection and loneliness, particularly for those who do not fit the conventional mold of attractiveness. Ury emphasizes that this can lead to a dangerous cycle, where men who feel rejected turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms, further isolating themselves from potential connections. As the discussion progresses, the topic of incels, men who identify as involuntarily celibate, emerges. Galloway highlights the alarming rise of this group, noting that many incels feel disenfranchised and angry at society for their lack of romantic success. Ury adds that the internet has provided a breeding ground for these feelings, with online communities fostering toxic ideologies that can lead to dangerous behaviors. The conversation underscores the importance of addressing the root causes of incel culture, which often stem from feelings of inadequacy and rejection. Both Galloway and Ury express concern about the potential consequences of this growing movement. They argue that lonely men, feeling disconnected and powerless, can become more susceptible to radicalization and violence. The discussion serves as a stark reminder of the need for society to take these issues seriously and to provide support for young men struggling with their identities and relationships. The conversation then shifts to the impact of fatherlessness on young men. Galloway points out that many boys grow up without positive male role models, which can lead to a host of issues, including increased likelihood of engaging in criminal behavior and struggling with emotional regulation. Ury agrees, noting that the absence of a father figure can create a void that is difficult to fill, often resulting in feelings of anger and resentment. Both guests emphasize the importance of male involvement in children's lives, particularly during formative years. They argue that positive male role models can help boys develop the emotional intelligence and resilience needed to navigate the complexities of adulthood. The discussion highlights the need for society to recognize the value of mentorship and community support in fostering healthy relationships and emotional well-being. Galloway and Ury delve into the concept of emotional intelligence and its significance in dating. Ury explains that women are increasingly seeking partners who can provide emotional support and understanding, yet many men have not been raised to develop these skills. This disconnect can create tension in relationships, as women often feel frustrated by their partner's inability to communicate effectively. Galloway adds that the traditional notion of masculinity has often discouraged men from expressing vulnerability, leading to a lack of emotional depth in relationships. He argues that men must learn to embrace their emotions and communicate openly with their partners to foster healthier connections. The conversation underscores the importance of emotional intelligence in modern dating, as it can significantly impact relationship satisfaction and longevity. The role of technology in shaping modern relationships is another key topic of discussion. Galloway points out that the rise of social media and dating apps has created a culture of instant gratification, where individuals expect immediate results and connections. This shift can lead to unrealistic expectations and a lack of patience in relationships, ultimately contributing to feelings of loneliness and dissatisfaction. Ury emphasizes that while technology can facilitate connections, it can also create barriers to genuine intimacy. The constant availability of online interactions can lead to superficial relationships where individuals struggle to form deep emotional bonds. The conversation highlights the need for individuals to find a balance between online and offline interactions, as well as to prioritize meaningful connections over fleeting encounters. As the discussion continues, Galloway and Ury explore the significance of male friendships in fostering emotional well-being. Galloway argues that many men struggle to form close bonds with their peers, often resorting to superficial interactions instead. This lack of connection can exacerbate feelings of loneliness and isolation, making it even more challenging for men to navigate their emotions. Ury adds that creating spaces for men to connect and share their experiences is crucial for building resilience and emotional intelligence. She suggests that men's groups or support networks can provide a safe environment for men to express their feelings and seek guidance from one another. The conversation underscores the importance of fostering strong male friendships as a means of combating loneliness and promoting mental health. The impact of feminism on modern relationships is another critical aspect of the conversation. Galloway and Ury discuss how the feminist movement has empowered women to pursue careers and independence, but it has also created new challenges for men. Ury notes that as women gain more economic power, men may feel threatened and struggle to adapt to the changing dynamics in relationships. Galloway emphasizes that the conversation around feminism should not be framed as a zero-sum game, where one gender's success comes at the expense of the other. Instead, both guests advocate for a more inclusive dialogue that recognizes the importance of collaboration and mutual support in fostering healthy relationships. The discussion highlights the need for both men and women to work together to create a more equitable society. As the conversation draws to a close, Galloway and Ury reflect on the future of relationships in a rapidly changing world. They express hope that as society becomes more aware of the challenges faced by young men, there will be a greater emphasis on providing support and resources to help them navigate their emotions and relationships. Ury emphasizes the importance of fostering open communication and understanding between genders, as this can lead to healthier connections and a more supportive environment for all. Galloway adds that addressing the issues surrounding masculinity and loneliness is not just a matter of individual well-being, but also a societal imperative. He argues that by investing in the emotional health of young men, we can create a more stable and harmonious society.